had over 2,000 people come through. And this thing was packed. There was a time, 2 or 3 times through the day that you could not even.
What's the little deal called that you use to make pottery?
The wheel.
Well, my cousin was down in Kentucky and we went to my other cousin's house and we picked one of those up.
Oh, really?
Her daughter-in-law does that.
Oh, yes, yeah. I've been a part, I studied in
I can see her doing that too.
Yeah, actually, this is kind of the gym that pottery saved. So, I told my husband, I said, if you'll just agree to us buying it, it didn't take much finagling from him because he's an old Derek's outlaw and he's 6'4", class of 1979. And so he was a basketball player.
Yeah.
And so we just went to work on it, and my dad was still alive at the time. The windows were all busted out. Tay, flip that light on. There's a light right there.
Is there a locker room?
Actually, sort of. But the locker rooms were down in the basement. You see these 2 doors? They go down in the basement.
Okay.
Now, there's access on this one, but I keep it locked.
Oh, that's cool.
But, and you can go down there, but water does get down there, and we've had so much rain, and right now it's so slick down there. But I mix my glazes down there. I've got all my glaze mixing compounds down there, and I use that to mix my glaze for my pottery.
Did you make that soap in there?
I do, yeah. That's
I was
what
smelling that and I thought, man, I smell soap somewhere, and then I saw it.
That's it,
Well, I do
yeah.
something.
I sell a ton of
Really?
soap. I do. Yeah, and I'm just now getting my pottery stash rebuilt. I don't open to the public anymore. I don't particularly like the public.
What do you do, ship out?
No, I don't ship. I do my big festival every year, and then I do farmers markets, and then I do commission orders. I do a lot of dinnerware for people. And then I also have some businesses, local businesses that I do lines of mugs for.
Oh, that's really cool.
So I stay plenty busy. I'm thankful to be a working artist and not a starving.
Right. You be at the game tonight?
I plan on it, yes. Yes, my sister will be there. Is she a little bit shorter than me, but she looks a lot like me.
Okay.
So, my sister
So she's
will be
good
there.
looking.
Well, all right. She's very pretty.
Leave it to Bart. Leave it to Bart.
I tell the truth.
But I do want to show you a couple of things. Right over here, my maiden name is Pinson. All right. You see that name band right there? My Uncle Jackie Pinson, who is the, not custodian, but the maintenance guy up at Umpire. That is his. Jackie got caught up in the consolidation. He was still in high school here in Langley. Then the consolidation happened, and so Jackie played basketball for the Kirby Trojans. And their colors are maroon and gray or maroon and white. And so that was his, when he would run out in their gear, that was his that snapped on the back of his jersey there. So I've tried to tie in a lot of our history, but ultimately what happened too, as painful as it was, it's still part of our history. I've got a ton of photos. These are all things that I collected growing up. I would raid my family's picture boxes and gather these things up. I think right over here is something that'll tell us.
If you play that, then I'll show you.
Oh yeah, right here. Okay, this is from the School of Gillum. And this is a 1967-68 basketball schedule. And look here, there's Winthrop, Hatfield. Winthrop, they just tore down their gym. It was in terrible shape. Hatfield, they've lost their school. The gym still stands. Cove, they've still got that old gym. But look, here's Umpire and Langley. We were competing against.
Right.
Yes, yeah. We were all in the same class at that time. So anyway, there's that. And I end up, people will bring me things. They've brought me pictures, they've brought me their diplomas, I've even had a couple of senior rings brought to me because there's no family to leave them to, or the family they do have doesn't here. Right in here. Oh, let me show you this. So a lot of my family, this is my dad here and his brother. They both graduated from here. This was an old church that's right just down the road, and my great-grandfather is in here, and he was a teacher not here at Langley, but of a couple of the one-room schools that actually ended up combining and making Langley School. The area was littered with little one-room buildings that were schools. This is an uncle, this is an aunt.
Oh, that's really cool.
great-grandfather, great-aunt. My great-grandmother's right there. They were married, yes. Now, see, we're called the Wildcats too. Only we're called the Scratching Wildcats. I never understood what that meant.
Maybe a scratching.
Okay, that's right. Maybe there was some lice
That
going
actually
around or
looks
something.
like a bobcat down there.
Kind of does. That sounds
Yeah.
football.
That's our mascot, bobcat.
A bobcat. Well, a bobcat and a wildcat's kind of
Yeah,
sort of the same
yeah.
thing.
They're cousins.
Yeah.
Now, the
Cousin from
Langley
Langley.
School, it stood, okay, right down here, right down here. Okay, where's the, here it is.
He's trying to get everybody in these videos.
This was taken just like 5 years after we lost the school. This was the school building.
That's a
And this was the
beautiful school.
gym. Oh, it was beautiful, and there were a number of these
So
style
what was the reasoning
buildings.
for them tearing it down?
They didn't tear it
burned.
down.
Oh, it burned down.
It was a bed and breakfast.
Yeah,
and
that's the one that
it had
burned.
sat there for
If
a
you're
long
listening to
time. Yeah, that's right. You
God, I probably didn't.
Get
He's getting
together.
distracted. But yes, okay, what happened was this sat here for years empty, and when Daddy would bring me up here on Friday and Saturday nights to go roller skating, the instructions were you stay out of the old school building, because they had it boarded
Oh,
up.
I did hear her. That's where that crack came from.
I'm telling you though, it was
Way to go.
plywood, and on the back entrance, you could actually pry the wood back and walk in. I want y'all to know, I hope I never forget the image of walking in that old school. The old curtain was still
Unless you
hanging.
get off timers, you
I
don't.
know, unless I get off time.
I mean, that's possible.
But it was, there were still papers strewn about on one of the blackboards, the last lesson for the day, read chapters 1 through blah, blah, blah. You know, that's how fast it happened.
Right.
But anyway, it sat there for a long time, that's an old baseball team.
I was just gonna say, that's
Yes,
pretty neat.
that's an old baseball team. They played on a field right down here.
Man, I wish they still had a glove like that laying around.
I wish that
Look at the
there
mustache.
was, I know. Oh, that was Pinson-Simmons.
There-
He
there
was
is like
quite the
that.
character. This is him too.
Andy said he
Quite
didn't
the
shave his.
character.
for
I
that
don't think I
guy.
can do it like he did. I mean, he can pull it off. I can't.
He was one of the best winemakers around. He was a very good winemaker, and all of the churches, when they would do their communion, they would go get a gallon of wine from Tom. And one time,
Did
the
they say, hey,
Baptist
can I get
church-
another one of those real quick?
That's right, I got
You got any of those in the
Just-
basement?
But there was a couple of boys that were sent to Tom's by the Baptist church to get some wine, and they ended up not coming home with any of it.
Oh,
But
wow.
anyway, it was a whole thing. I won't name names.
Can't
there's a
imagine that.
camera.
Yeah, that's right.
But anyway, okay, now this was the inside of the school. Charlotte and Eddie Ayers took the inside of that wonderful school and they turned it into a bed and breakfast. And it was just an amazing, wonderful place. And it was a terrible loss when it burned. They lived in it, so it was an even harsher loss for them. But that was a fun place. This is my mother. This is my grandmother. She was a teacher here. That's an aunt. We had one bus at Langley. It would go the east run, which was the Lodi run, and then it would come back and pick up the kids that lived on the west run.
So your
So-
family's been entrenched in Langley for a long time.
Can't you tell?
So were they here whenever it caught on fire?
Yes. Yes. I mean, it wasn't a school then, it was the bed and breakfast, but, oh
Yeah,
yeah.
Landon, when you listening
Yeah, it
out
was
there?
terrible.
I was like
Actually,
in the
I
party.
know. Pay attention.
These guys.
But yeah, it was just, that's my dad when he was a little fella.
Oh, wow.
My dad, for the first 6 months after we bought this place, me and Daddy worked up here solid. This was all rotted out here, and Daddy just come up here one day with a tool belt, and I said, Daddy, I didn't buy this so that you'd have something else to work on. Well, he just kind of looked at me, and he took a sledgehammer, and he went to work, and he tore out all of the rot. He got up in under it, him and my two sons, they were big teenagers in early 20s at that time. And they jacked it up and put new treated timbers underneath the area that had rotted out. So we stabilized the building. Really, the building is in pretty darn
I
good
think
shape.
it does look like it's really
It's in
good
good
shape.
shape for the shape it's in.
Yeah.
We do need a roof. We've got to get a roof on this thing.
What do you do with the line going across?
Oh, let me tell you.
You hanging
about that.
clothes? Are we
No,
old
no,
school
I'm
or
hanging
Amish?
laundry. No, there was a wedding here. It'll be 2 years ago in May, and
Yeah.
they hung those up, and there was actually 2 more. and they draped this tulle over. Oh, it was beautiful. It was gorgeous. But her daddy had graduated school here, and it was very sentimental for them to have their wedding here. And I just haven't cut that one down.
That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
I
You're not
haven't
having
cut
another
that. I
wedding
might
soon.
use it. I might
Langley
make
may come back
Christmas
and get married here.
You say y'all got this in 12, 2012?
Yes, 2012.
Got another question.
Sam was listening.
What's up with the light, or
Oh, that
window.
stained glass, my brother-in-law made that for me. And I just got it hanging up in there. And there's another one over there, it's a 4-H, it's in the.
I saw that one. I see how-
I'm a 4-H leader, I'm a big believer in 4-H. And one of our local, well, in fact, it was one of our artists that was here, the stained glass guy. And he made that for me. But, okay, here's some diplomas. Oh, I love this. This is my dad. It's my dad,
Oh,
number
wow,
15,
look at that.
yes. Yes, this was a coach, Peanut Widener was his name.
Your dad was ahead of his time. That's pretty much the same hairdo all the kids do nowadays.
It's that, yes, it's not a fade.
Dude, it's
What do
not
they
quite-
call
I don't even
this?
know, but
I
yeah.
don't know, but yeah, that was him and his brother. And I can name all of these people. A lot of them are gone now. This one here, in fact, made it through the Vietnam War and came back and got killed in a car wreck. So it was so sad. Anyway.
These old girls' jerseys, that's kind of neat too.
Isn't that great? I've got a couple of
1954.
jerseys too. I've got a couple of jerseys. Here's another. Oh, okay. Now this was not here in this building. The Langley School was originally about a half mile this way. Yes. And when this building burned is when we got the rock school. This is another basketball team here. And yeah, they didn't wear their. In fact, I think they played like that.
Oh, really?
Yes, they played in their overalls.
And just their.
Yes.
Wow.
Oh, my daddy told me one time in this gym they were having practice, and of course they didn't dress out then. But he accidentally tripped one of the other boys, and he got up and pulled a knife on him. Things were different back then. You know,
See,
they
kids,
both
when you don't
got
hustle in
fussed at.
practice.
That's right. Yeah. Right.
Better be
What'd you
careful.
say?
Better be careful, she's carrying a knife.
Oh, no,
I do. Yeah, that's not all either.
Yeah, I saw your sign out there.
Yeah. Hey, you're in the country. But these are
You're in
small
God's
diplomas. Yes.
That's
yes.
right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, and I'm a runner too, so you
got
have
to.
Are you getting ready to run out?
Yes, well, I took a treadmill over there.
Are you okay with this? Are we okay?
Go remember, it's full.
I did it!
I said we can leave our campus.
Oh, God! How do you guys get back, Nelly? Left-handed.
And if he succeeds,
All right, Jordan.
and all right, this is an original uniform. People, they bring me things, and this is an original junior boys uniform. Now, This one was actually up in an attic of an old house that's about to fall in, and we rescued it out of there. It's eaten up by termites. But there's actually a picture of the boy actually wearing it right there. That's him. In here, there's some more Langley memorabilia in here. This used to be the original entrance to the Langley School. There was a double French door here, but then this was boxed in, and I think this was turned into like the coach's office or something. But there's pictures in here. This is the top of a girl's uniform. This was donated by Janice Lowry McCrae. She lives just up the hill in Albert Pike. She kept that in a trunk, and she donated that to us. This is a Langley jacket here. Darius Thomas donated us that, and he even donated me his class ring, but I keep it in a lock box. But that's Mr. Thomas there, and this is him when he was in school. And these are just some random pictures. This is my grandfather here. He was a teacher, administrator, coach, bus driver, whatever hat needed wearing at Langley, he wore it for many, many years. And there he is up there on a class trip with a group of kids put on by South Central Arkansas Electric Cooperative. They still put on that same trip every year. And we went then, and these are just some Langley pictures here. This was our high school. See, we had a number of kids. And then right here was our elementary here. So we had a pretty good population of kids back in the day. And here's another Francie Short, donated us her jacket as well, and I also have her class ring in the lockbox. Frances didn't have any kids, so she donated me. Oh, and these right here. Only 3 annuals were ever made in Langley's history. The very first one is right here. It's in 1950. Okay? Then we went a long stretch without having any annuals made. But in 1965 and 66, the last 2 annuals that were made at Langley School, and I've got representations of all of them. And this one, even though it's quite old, it's in good shape, and I have copies of it that I keep in a lockbox too. But every year, fourth Sunday in May, I have my family reunion here, and then the local cemetery, the Langley Hall Cemetery, has their decoration day, and a lot of older Langley alumni come to that, and they will come by the gym and visit. So we kind of have every year kind of an impromptu reunion, and I will put all of our pictures and books out where people can look at them, and they swap stories, and a lot of times they'll bring me something new. So that's how we've gathered up a lot of our memorabilia.